When the blue light's on this is the row that you want to be on. Effects and masters and everything else. When you're on this one, your channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through 16 is in effect. You can have it. You can have a custom layer, and then you can put tags here wherever that you wanted. You can mix and match whatever that you would want to put in a custom layer. But most likely you'll probably be on this layer or this layer. So again, make sure that you know where you are. If you are on stereo, if you're on this layer here, I'm not mixing now for my microphone inputs. Yeah. I'm mixing for my outputs now and stuff. So just make sure that you're always, when you're your input mixing, you're on this channel here and stuff. So let's name this channel. Let's go to channel 1. I've selected channel 1. Up in here you see like a little pencil. I can select that and then it comes up on a keyboard. And so I can just say WRLS for wireless 1. I'm just gonna name it, okay. So now this channel has a wireless 1. So if I were to select all of these and if they were all named, you would see channel 1 is wireless 1. You could put tags down here if you wanted to kind of help, but I don't know the layout of what you guys want to do with that. So, but you can come in here and just change that. So again, it's just hitting that text key up there and then going that direction. So does that make sense there?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. So let's see here. So this is what I was going to get to. If I am going to do an output on my mixes, let's say mix 1, just like we've been seeing, it has, so this is like a monitor out to the stage. I can do a fader flip here at this point. And what this does is basically now these faders become an equalizer at that point. I'm not mixing for anything. I'm actually changing the EQ of how this whole thing, of how my monitors sound at that point. Let's see here, reset. So I want to reset mix 1. Can I reset this one? So anyway, that's how I can do it. So if I want to reset, I can just hit my select buttons and it kind of brings it all back to zeros and stuff. So you can hit graphics again, and now I'm messing with the high end, the highs and the high mids of everything. But then I can just reset everything and go back to 0. So if you ever wanted to get detail on the monitors, you can be able to do that. This is kind of telling you where my peaks are. Like, oh, I'm seeing, I'm having a lot of issues here, and so I can start bringing this up or down. Okay, I can start bringing things down for that. But this is for monitors because I'm on my output. So that's what graphic EQ fader flip stands for. So let's come back to this channel here. So let's see. PFL. If I want to listen to a set of headphones, and if I want to hear this mic specifically in my headphones alone, I hit this PAFL button, and that solos out that into my headset, and I can bring up my headphones right here.
Okay.
Pre-fader listen is what that stands for. It's pre-fader here. So no matter what I do here, it's not affecting my headphones. I can listen to it before it hits, as it hits the signal chain out there. The after fader listen is when you're using it for mixes. So I can use this mix here, or use this button here, and listen to, if they're talking about they need monitor changes, I can listen to my headphones, and I can make that adjustment. And by mixing, I can listen to my headphones. So if they're on mix 1, so you see mix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 through 10 is the same as mix 1, 9 through 10 here. Okay, they correlate together. This is the master. So if I'm on mix 1 and I hit mix 1, this fader becomes the master now, and so you'll see these two faders come together because it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
So by default, left right is on, and that means you're mixing for your house, mixing for your congregation. If you hit mix 1, that means you're mixing for your monitors. Mix 2, mix 3, mix 4. You can have a separate mix. Then for right now, I've got it set up to where whatever's in the house mix out here is going to feed your live stream audio. So that just makes it easier at this point for you guys to do that. Unless you guys want to come out of a separate mix, then somebody would have to monitor this mix, listening to it in there on the live stream or recording and stuff. And normally, if you don't hear it coming directly out of here, does this have a headphone jack? Does this TV have a headphones?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you can plug headphones into this and listen to the live stream mix all at the same time. So that's what the PAFL does at that point. But we'll jump back into here. So if I want to mix my monitors at that point, and somebody on stage, wants a little bit more, less of something, again, I come here and I start mixing whatever these input channels are. I start, mixing it in whatever it is.
Take that back. It does not have. I
does
thought
not.
it does.
Okay, you can still listen to that. You can still listen to it from here.
You can listen to it on here.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it in there. So this is mix 1. This mix here is what I'm sending to the floor wedge or whatever your monitors are. Mix 2 can be something totally different. They want something different. Mm-hmm. So now you got mix 1 that stays the same. It's just like turning a page in a book. Mm-hmm. I'm not losing any information. I'm just turning the page. And so I'm just turning the page. This is on mix 2 now. This is mix 1. And let's say mix 4, this is my live stream, and this is what I want for my live stream. And then so you go back to mix 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then when you're done with all their mixes, make sure that you come back to left and right. You can either press this again and it goes back to left and right, or you just push the left and right button. Now you're back. When you're on left and right, you're mixing for what's in these speakers here, what's coming out here. Again, then if you're mixing here, that's for any floor monitors or live stream. And then your live mix here. Just make sure that you pay attention to that. I've done this before where I'm mixing like, oh crap, I'm on the monitors and not the mains. And then some people in their ears or some people on stage are going, well, what happened? Because I wasn't mixing for monitors, or I was mixing monitors by accident. So make sure that's when you want to be on house, make sure you're on house there. So when I say house, I'm talking about everything out here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's see. So we've gone through this processing button on everything. There's a routing button then when you select the channel. So routing of where you're wanting this microphone to be. So this is the only one I'm working with. So I've selected this. And so I have, now where do you can see where I'm going to send it. So not only, if my left and right is not turned on, then I'm not sending signal. So I can doing everything right here on all my assignments, but if this is turned off, that's not allowing the signal to pass through the main output. Okay. Mm-hmm. The same with the monitors. So that needs to make sure that that's turned on and stuff. So and the same with mix. So you could have mixes turned off. You could come into here and doing all that you want to do with it, and you can see the volumes changing. But if it's not turned on, I'm not sending signal that way. Okay. So it has to be turned on as well. And there's reasons why you'd want to turn it off. Let's say those drop mics were for ambient microphones and for live streaming and not for reproduction in here. So then I would come here and I would just turn it off. I don't want it to come here. I don't want there to be an accident because that could cause a loop. That could cause a feedback issue. So those are reasons why that you would have some of those turned off. In certain applications. I'm just going to bring all these down. All right, so now we're back to normal here. So routing, and so you can have, let's see, DCA mutes. It's funny, they have DCA group assignments, Dave, on this stuff here. So let's see, mix, inputs. I'll do all out close. But I can have DCAs in here that allows to do, I can group instruments meaning if I have 3 guitars on stage and 3 keyboards or whatever, I can group the keyboards together. I can group the guitars together. And then so you can have a level here to be like, okay, I want to come to here on my DCA side. And I can just come here and like, okay, I want all the guitars to come down at one time. So if my mix is here on my guitars, instead of coming to all 3 locations or all 3 faders and bringing them down, I can come to here and bring the volume down at that point. And basically what that's doing is bringing the volume down in the same ratio as the mix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. So you can assign DCAs, and that's in the routing, and then come to mute DCA, and then I can DCA assign. So DCA group 1, I'm going to have that as there, and then so I can come to my master, and if I turn that down, I don't hear this anymore because I've assigned it to a DCA, and my DCA master is down. So I would want to like, hey, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So if it's turned down, no matter what you could, like I said, you could be doing everything right everywhere else, and you're not. And it's another step that you're having there. So I'll bring that back to 0. Mute group assignments, and so I can do mute groups as far as all that goes. I can assign these 4 channels to be like, oh, I want to mute everything all at once. Okay, mute. I can assign that to be a mute group all at once. Let's see. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do those. And I can also do mixes of what I want in there, but I'm just going to do inputs right now. So I'm going to close. Yep. So that actually mutes that right now. So if I've got that as a mute group, that actually, when they're flashing, that means that everything's that's on a mute group, being muted at that point. Like, okay, cool. So instead of muting everything all at once, just do it like that. So turn that off and then deassign this for it now. So you have different mute groups and stuff. Yep, all the different levels. And again, there's 5 different ways of doing it. If I wanted mix 1 to be at a level at 0, and when I come to mix 1, it's there. But if I want to bring it down, you can see it's doing the same thing.
Okay.
So again, there's where you want to stay back in there. If I'm at home, I can see my meters, so I can see my input. I can see my compression kicking in here. I can see the gain reduction light. I can see that this channel is it's only one channel. I can see what's happening. So I'm sending it in mix 1. So if I send it in mix 2, mix 3, you'll be able to see them all become active. So you can see where things are going with that. You can see it coming out of left and right. It has an RTA, so you can see a little bit where, let's see, Spectro. Oh, cool. That's a new feature. You can kind of see what's happening in a time lapse. Hey, 2. So you can kind of see your frequency range, and it gives you a little time lapse of what's going on. Let's see, medium, highs, lows. So RTA, you can see RTA follows PAFL. So this becomes key 2. So if I hit this, but I hit this, I'm on a PAFL here. You're not seeing anything because it follows this button here. So at that point, you can see, hey, kind of if you're isolating a microphone, you can see where does it sound, if there's any feedback, you can kind of isolate that, and then you can come back to your equalization and kind of EQ that out a little bit and stuff. So that'll help you visually kind of hear what's happening, and you still listen, but kind of visually see what's going on there. User, I will probably set up a standard for you guys and block out admin, just because you can with on some user or standard side, you can't access everything on purpose to be like, okay, I'm going to have a master EQ out on this and use the processing of this console and put it there. I don't want you messing with that, because if you could if you decided to, but then that messes with the overall. That's not just an input EQ, so I would kind of tune that out a little bit. So we can have user sign in just like your computer there. You have a password, and that's what this would be as well. Is a where'd you go? Well, is being able to is to have a user sign in. So not everybody could just log in and just say, hey, I'm going to start messing with stuff. You can have a user login, and then it could be set password that only you know, or that you can only give out, and then they would log into that, and so they can't accidentally just mess with stuff. Meters, RTA, Q drive, and this is where the multi-track can happen. I can plug in my Q drive here, put a USB in, and multi-track just like you would be in a studio, and you can play it back. Adding effects. So here's my effects 1 and 2, and here's effects 1 and 2 at that point. So if I wanted to add effects, check 2. If I wanted to add effects to it, I could, and that's here's effects 2. Check 2. So you can have a stereo. You can have different effects that you can mix on that. So that's what effects 1 and 2. You can change them to be, I believe. Let's see, my library function. Yeah, okay. In the library, then at that point, hey, I think that thing ran out of fuel. I think so. So if you were going to try to turn that on, that's I think it ran out.
Probably you don't need that noise right now.
Oh no, but I'm just letting you know. I think it ran out. Yes, thank you. You can have different delay features on effects 1 and 2, so it's not just this EMT 250. There's different libraries in here that you can add, gated reverbs, different delays, if you're in an echo chamber and all that kind of stuff. So, but I don't know how much you're going to do right now because this room is live anyway at this point. So. Scenes. So if I have a scene here, like today, like the first use service, if I do a first use service and this is your mix, you like everything about it, I can store here, and I want to name it first use, or just whatever the date is or whatever. Oops. Okay, so I'll name it first use. So then I'm gonna make a change. So this is my youth service now. My youth service is gonna do this, and then so I want to save it here, and I want to name it youth. I'm gonna name it okay. So now what I can do is like, okay, the youth service had their service, but I didn't want them to mess up my first youth service. So I can come back here and I can recall. Do I want to recall? Yes. And everything flies right back to where it recalls everything, just like you would if you're on a Word document or anything. It just saves everything. So if I have my youth service again, they can log in, go to recall, and go to yes, and then now they're back to what their youth service was.
Okay.
And so there's different things, different scenes that you can do with that. I think, yeah, there's like 100. There's like 100 different scenes on that. So I can scene edit. I can do different things there. Add filters to it. Don't recall. You can put things in safe mode. So if you change things around in scenes, it's not going to change that. Safes. So there's that side of stuff. Just as a quick overview with that. I want to clear this out. Yes. I'm going to clear this out because it isn't a mix. So global filters, I want to block custom layers, block soft keys. So meaning, depending on how you user sign in, they don't have access to any of this stuff. They don't have access to a custom layer. They don't have access to changing the names of anything. So there's certain things that can block things out for that. So scenes setup. Control USB data, so I can transfer any data. If you have a saved scene, we could put it on a thumb drive. You could email it to me, or I could email it to you, and we could go back and forth with that. libraries, I/O patches, utilities. So there's some stuff in here that you can update firmware on this, and I would just kind of look at that periodically to make sure that you're up to date on firmware stuff. If there's any glitches or anything that they found in 1.97, that you'd be able to just come in here and update the firmware and stuff. So, yeah. You can do touchscreen calibrations and stuff, but you have a talk back here. So if you have floor monitors, instead of trying to yell to somebody up there, you can plug in a microphone back here and have a talk button, and that you can talk to their monitors directly.
Okay.
You can, let's see, get out of that. So if I want to I want to copy a channel. I can select that channel. So it says copy channel 1 in processed, and I want to paste. So where do I want to paste this channel? I want to paste it to 3. So now it's pasted to 3. So if I come here, it's a copy paste, just like you would in like a Word document. It's copy paste type thing. So you can copy and paste. The EQs changed. Some of the gains didn't change. That's something that you would have to just monitor out and stuff. So I can do a reset. I want to reset this channel, and it goes back to 0 at that point. So let's see. Panning left and right. You'll pretty much be in center all the time. Let's see here. Pan left, right. Yes. Okay. So I mean, you'll pretty much be in pan center anyway at that point, because it's just it's not a. I mean, it's a little bit of stereo mixing, but I mean, it kind of allows a little bit more of a fullness in here. But you'll pretty much be just a 0 anyway. So channel 1. Let's see. Where is it? Mix 1. On panning. DC and mutes. I can see where it is right off. But anyway, so yeah. Any questions you have? Oh, and you can see this light's on. Like, why is that light on? That means a PAFL button is on, and I can undo that there. So any questions you have, on that? So with that, because I'll probably segue into your video side, so you can talk about mixing the audio into the video, then he can run over video and all that kind of stuff with you.
Okay.
Anything you have with this that you want to go over again, or you want to look at, or? And we'll bring all these cables in, so you're going to see all your stage inputs, soldered all, all connected back there and stuff. So that'll be something we'll work on.
Okay.
Right now, I don't have. As we talked about camera location, so we're just going to leave this here for right now, and you can see the camera there and stuff. So he'll go over that, but that's why we're just going to leave it right here for now. We're going to pull the wire up there, and then have all that done, at least ready and dressed off down here for you and stuff. So also for this guy here, because this will be your hearing assistant. I don't know what you want to feed it. Do you want to feed it everything? And so at that point, then you could do a mix and say, I want to specifically mix certain things to the hearing assistance. I don't need everything to mix. I just want pastor's vocal in there.
And you don't want that hearing assistant system sitting very close to that wireless antenna. You want to set that back a little ways away, because that will interfere with that wireless mic.
Yeah.
So you want to set those a little ways apart. So anything transmitting needs to be separated from anything receiving by about 6 feet at minimum.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so do you have any questions on that?
No.
Okay. And then he'll segue into some video world for you, because right now this is their machine, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is and but this is the software for this guy here.
Okay.
On how to run that, and this is your multi-view, so you can see different inputs. When you add cameras, you can see cameras, all that stuff. But he'll go over all that stuff. I'm already stepping into his world.
Okay.
So what we have here is you have a camera sitting right over there, and that is controlled by currently this remote control here, and this lens cap is for that camera. That needs to go back on whenever that camera's not in use, simply because with the construction going on in here, we want to be sure that we don't get any dust or anything on the lens.
Okay.
So now you can use this remote control to, if you watch the video here, you can pan down, pan up. And it's got to be aimed a certain way right now. You can turn it left, and turn it right, and you can even zoom in, zoom out, all from this remote control.
Okay.
Now, this remote itself will allow you to control 4 different cameras of that same style. You just have to tell the camera, hey, I'm camera 1, camera 2, whatever.
Okay.
So that's basic functions of the remote. It's not that complicated. Your projector is set to receive
this
signal.
touchscreen?
Pardon?
Is this touchscreen?
No.
Okay.
No. Your projector is going to only ever see the computer output.
Okay.
Because one thing about digital components of any style, those have a little delay. So say pastor moves his hands or says something, it's slightly behind, and it's very annoying sometimes. So if I were to have the camera on him and you watch it on screen, it's like there's a delay. So that's why you don't really want to put the camera back up on screen. It gets very annoying after a while. If you ever watch like Chinese movies or something like that, where they're saying their lips are moving one way, but they're actually saying something else.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same effect we're going to have here, and it's very distracting. So we really want to stick to just having just the graphics on screen. And what I did here was, it's what's called extending your desktop. I don't know if you've done that on your computer or not, but there's an output right here. Your HDMI output is putting out to this. It's just simply extended. You can see the mouse moving across. So this is screen 1, that's screen 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So whatever you're doing here, this is your PowerPoint presentation you had. I just pulled one up randomly, so you can put your graphics up on the screen. So just gives you an idea of what we're doing here. So
So before we end up this, I want to play some music. I didn't play music. I was talking to the microphone, so we'll play music for you as well.
Okay.
I didn't do that yet.
Okay.
So your PowerPoint presentations will automatically see that it's a 2-screen setup. But if you have like a picture or something like that somebody brings in, you'll have to do what's called drag and drop. You'll drag it over and drop it in right there. So
Okay, because we play messages as well. We download messages and then we play them.
yeah, you can do
So-
that real easy. It's just a matter of drag and drop. So nothing terribly complicated. The software for your Blackmagic Designs ATEM is this right here, and that can be found if you go into your start menu right here, and it'll say ATEM software control, not the setup, software control. That's already running, so it's already right here. And this allows you to go between your camera output or your computer. Now this will only be seen online. So as you're doing live stream, this screen, what you're seeing here, has no effect on that computer screen or on the projector up there.
Okay.
So currently, if we were actually live streaming, they would be seeing this. Whatever says program, this is what is being output.
Okay.
This is a preview. This is what's coming up. This is what's going out. Currently, you only have 2 inputs active. That would be your computer and your camera.
Okay.
So camera and computer are both labeled here. And you can choose
And does that input goes in here?
Yeah, there's actually a splitter behind here that comes out of here into this red device.
Okay.
It splits out of that to go to the projector, and then splits to come into here.
Okay.
So it does both. So your computer is this cable here, and then your camera is this cable here.
Okay.
So I've currently got this connected for control with the USB cable. That's my cable right now. We'll get you a new one at lunchtime. Get plugged in. And this is your preview output to the monitor. And then there's also an audio input coming from that, so we get a feed of audio coming in here for your live stream.
Okay.
So that all has to be connected plus power.
Okay.
So actually that's power, this is your audio. So on here you can fade.
So is this camera based, right?
I'm sorry?
This camera here.
Yeah.
Is it this?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we have more than one camera, how does that work?
You
One down there, right there.
you would plug it in here as well. There's an input there
Okay.
for that. Now you need to. I want to make sure you know that you can't take like just any general camera and plug it in here. It's not going to work that way. So if you got something like you're bringing over from there that's old standard, like standard definition cameras or security cameras, they're not going to work with this system at all.
Okay. So what kind of camera works with this?
You can use things like a decent camcorder. You can use a camcorder that has HDMI output, but it has to be able to put out what's called a 59.94 refresh rate. So that can be found. Let's see here. Yeah, 1080p 5994 is your system standard. So whatever you connect to, this system has to be 1080p 5994. So a standard 720p camera is not going to work. A standard 480 camera is not going to work. So your higher definition camcorders would work. Naturally, these style of cameras are going to work. These Marshall style cameras will work.
How about the cell phone cameras? Would it work?
No. No. Only this. It has to have an HDMI input.
Yeah, okay.
But your cell phone cameras, no. You're into plain old, like I said, camcorders that have HDMI out will work. Things like that will work. But cell phones and anything below that, no. You can hook up hook up another computer if you'd like it as well.
So this computer has 1080 cameras? The webcams?
Webcams, it's going to look really grainy. So,
Okay, so what if I was to do this? So you like for example, maybe the phone like connected to the laptop and have the video or the camera pulled up on the laptop, and the laptop feed of the camera is being sent to.
you can do that, but it's going to look very, very bad.
Okay.
So it's very grainy picture.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to make it sure you know that these are your standard cameras. That's what this system's designed to work for.
Okay.
Anything less than that, I can't guarantee that it's going to be a successful experience.
Okay.
So until you're really live streaming, there's not much I can show you on how to do this, because there needs to be a network cable run from that box to here. And if at all possible, a network cable run from there to here to wire this in. You don't really want to use Wi-Fi if you can avoid it. You want to have it wired in. It's wired always gives you the best connection possible. So there's a network connection on the back of this. It's right here for a standard network cable, and that will give you your best streaming experience.
Okay.
So when you say streaming, I mean, I have a computer that we can live stream on YouTube. Just for testing. Would that work?
As long as it's wired, you don't want to use Wi-Fi. So this is designed to stream over wired connection. It will do Wi-Fi, but if you get a lot of people in here and everybody's on their phones, and they're trying to live stream themselves, then that Wi-Fi connection starts getting pulled down. It gets overloaded, and your wired connection always takes priority over Wi-Fi. So this needs to stay the most important thing during your service. So you want to be sure that if you can, get a wire running from here to that box plugged in, and then you'll have a better experience that way.
So is this the only thing that kind of requires a wired connection, or there's more?
It would be good to have this wired as well. It would be good, whatever computer you're using to feed that.
Yeah, the PC will be wired.
Yeah, it would be good to have that wired as well. So anything that's critical to your worship service is best off to be wired connection, because like I said, if the Wi-Fi dumps all of a sudden, everything stops. So that's why it's best to have everything fully wired in here.
Okay.
So, but this little device here it's pretty nice. As you can see, we've got two video devices being shown, and on this software you can choose which one you want to preview. So like if I want the computer on preview, and currently I've got the camera on, and you want to go to graphics, you can hit this auto and it will fade that way, or you can cut directly to it just by tapping that button.
Okay.
So you can also do it here. So you don't even have to have the auto on, you can just do a direct cut. Boom, boom.
Okay.
So auto, or you can also even fade to black. So you can turn the,
So this is faded, but it's still displaying.
well, that's because this is only for live stream.
Okay.
This is only for Facebook. That, what is being seen up there is strictly the computer. This has no control over what is being put on the screen at all. This is 100% live only. This has absolutely nothing to do with what's being shown on the screen. The only thing that controls what's being on the screen is your computer here. So if I were to say, for instance, we come back to this and I want to change slides, I've got full control of that here, or I can turn off, get rid of that program altogether, and you've got a black screen.
Okay.
I can also, if I really want to be creative, drag your control over. This is what I was telling you about drag and drop. So yeah, now everybody can see it that I'm mixing video, which is not necessarily a thing that people on a Sunday morning want to see. So yeah, your computer goes directly to the projector.
Okay.
That projector only sees what's being fed off of this. So that's really kind of the basics of what's going on here. It's not really all that complicated. So
So is it possible to connect, I guess, this view to the projector?
well, like I was saying earlier, you don't really want to do that because that camera is going to give you a delay.
Okay. Okay.
So-
okay.
Any other questions?
So is there a way to do kind of split video on the same screen?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, actually, this is so. What I'm thinking is when the service is on, and you want to show probably the choir and members on the same screen up to have it displayed. I don't know if that's going to mean having two videos at the same time.
Yeah, we're gonna
You
need
mean
multiple
to
cameras.
put the camera back on the screen?
So having two. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like to have like the pastor like showing and then the congregation showing as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna need two cameras for that.
So that'll be two cameras.
Yeah.
You mean on here? or on the
On the display.
yeah, you like I was saying, you don't want to do that. You don't want to take a camera from here and put it back in there. You're going to have a major delay. I can show you what it's going to look like. You're not going to like it, but let's see here. Let's see if I can do this the easy way.
I don't know whether said any because of did you mention somebody that is doing it? You didn't mention to me. I got information from you, right?
See if that jumps it for a second. Yep. Let's do it.
So everybody is busy. So
Just a second here.
you have sorting like newspapers to vote. So this map to please see that I can put
I'm good with the sports.
this is retirement.
Just give the projector a moment here to lock on to it. Okay. Now watch as they're moving and see the delay.
Yeah, I do it full.
If you walk up there and you walk through, you're going to see there's a delay, and that's what's going to be very annoying.
I think it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think. I mean,
Well-
I can go back so that you can see what it looks like.
Stand in front of the camera and speak.
Right? I'm here.
Yeah, but okay, stand just this way a little bit because the scaffolding's in the way. Okay. Now stand, turn, and speak to the camera.
Okay. How about this?
So see his lips moving. It's slightly delayed.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about
Okay.
because that gets annoying. That's very distracting. So if somebody's listening to him speak and watching him on the screen, it's got a delay, and that's a very big distraction.
Okay.
That's why I don't do that.
So what do you think? Because I'm thinking probably during service when Pastor Aki wants to say, and again, you know, we'll be having multiple, probably 2 cameras at some point. One there.
Yeah.
Then if you want to show, probably the choir, probably is it possible to have probably the choir machine and the congregation as well?
Yeah. The thing is, how you have to look for camera.
Something here, probably like 1 or 2 more cameras. So if we have that, so it's gonna be. So it's all gonna fit into this, right? So if we have probably 1 or 2, yeah, it's gonna fit into this. Yeah. Can you pause that? Yes.